Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us virtually tonight for our Candles of Remembrance event. I'd like to begin this evening by acknowledging that we are meeting on Aboriginal land that has been inhabited by Indigenous people from the beginning. As settlers, we're grateful for the opportunity to meet here, and we thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land from the beginning. In particular, we acknowledge that this is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, specifically Ojibwe Chippewa people. We recognize and deeply appreciate their historic connection to this place. We also recognize contributions of Métis, Inuit, and other Indigenous people that they've made in both shaping and strengthening this community in particular, and our province and country as a whole. We are all here today to remember and celebrate lives lost, and it is my hope that every part of this evening will honor a life lived among us. There are no words to express the mixture of feelings that surrounds each person here. Sadness for ourselves because our loved ones are no longer here in the physical world, but also gratefulness that we had a chance to live and love together. Thank you again for joining us this evening, and please stay safe, everyone.
Caged Bird by Maya Angelou. A free bird leaps on the back of the wind and floats downstream till the current ends, and dips his wing in the orange sun rays and dares to claim the sky. But a bird that stalks down his narrow cage can seldom see through his bars of rage. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The caged bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still. And his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom. The free bird thinks of another breeze, and the trade winds soft through the sighing trees, and the fat worms waiting on a dawn-bright lawn, and he names the sky his own. But a caged bird stands on the grave of dreams. His shadow shouts on a nightmare scream. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The caged bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom.
Hi, it's Angie Nussey here. Thanks for letting me be part of your Candles of Remembrance again this year. I always enjoy the magical energy of grief because it's completely free of ego. There's no identity. There's nothing. Everyone is just in that higher vibration, which is scary to some people and sad to some people. But for me, it's very alive. It's very awake. I want to play a song for you that I wrote when COVID was first happening and we were all isolating. It was also a time where my sister was passing away, and so it just was one of those songs that had to come out, and I'd like to share it with you today. It's called Start First. Silence has come in this hour of need, just in the nick of time, when we were down on our knees. If you find yourself longing for everyone to be free, well, it starts first with you. And it starts first with me. We can't play the fool. We've known this for years. Watching the truth through the lens of our fear. If we lay down what we think we need, well, it starts first with you. And it starts first with me. We are not broken. We are not lost. We are just growing. There is a cost. We hold the wisdom to forgive and release. But it starts first with you. And it starts first with me. Silence has come in this hour of need to give us space, to let us grieve. When we are ready, we'll move toward peace. But it starts first with you. And it starts first with me. Much love to you.
The first candle we light to honour our grief and the depth of our loss. As we experience the hurt of the present and the past, we offer it to the God of each of our understandings, asking that in our broken hearts will be placed the gift of comfort and peace. We ask for healing and peace in this time of our need.
The second candle we light to remember those who stood with us in our pain, who took the time to create a safe place for us to grieve. We are grateful for the courage that came to us and the care and support from others.
The third candle we light as a sign of anticipation, that each day may find us moving towards peace, and that each day may leave us with hope. We trust in the coming of peace and rest, in the end of pain and sorrow, and that we will find comfort in our memories.
The fourth candle is for the unspoken grief, for the grief we cannot speak of or name, for the grief that no one recognizes.
The fifth candle we light to remember those we loved and continue to love, who have died. We pause to remember their name, their face, their voice, and everything that made them special to us. The memory that binds them to us, may eternal love surround them.
Good evening. My name is Linda Patton-Cowie, and I'm the minister at St. Mark's Presbyterian Church here in Aurelia. You don't need me to remind you that this has been a very difficult year. It's been a difficult year for many people, but most of all for those who are grieving. This is true for many in my congregation as well as me personally. So I found a poem to share with you. It's entitled Talking with the Dead. Morning. Ocean, rain, and fog. I wake uneasy in the God Beach Motel, scratching in my brain to set the day right. And here it is, the calendar reminding me that on this day, a year ago, you died. On this day, a year ago, you packed your gentle manner and disarming clarity, your kindness and body humor, your high-pitched laugh and pixie face, and crossed over, leaving the phone dead. The crowded dining room hollow, the reservoir iced over, the lovers ashen, the tennis courts deserted. Ever since, I've wanted to get even with death. I've wanted to bring you back where you belong. I've wanted to join you, loving your company, happy where you were. Your exit knocked me off my stride, a rhythm I can't seem to find again. The left behind can't help but make it all about them. We wade in shadows for answers we can't have. And though we never left a word unsaid, I'd give a world to sit with you and talk, just as we used to do. Now it's in my head. This work of keeping you alive, just as you constantly renewed yourself, and have again, for all we know. I keep your lesson close. Be open, honest, true. Be rigorous and loyal, but most of all be joyful in everything I say and do. The world is shining even as we lose the people, things, and scenes we cherish most. Walking on the beach, my son, whose middle name is yours, collects stones and makes up stories for each one. A life can be a model. I learned that much from you. May God bless you during this season.
Separation by W.S. Merwin. Your absence has gone through me like thread through a needle, and everything I do is stitched with its color.
When they met at the river, he could see her standing there in a dress made of linen and a flower in her hair. And they stayed for a while, making drawings in the sand. And they knelt by the river where the water meets the land. 10 years passed, he came to her, a nervous tone she'd never heard. With trembling hands, gave her a note in boyish words he wrote. If I go to the river, will I see you standing there in a dress made of linen and a flower in your hair? We can stay for a while, making drawings in the sand. I will wait by the river where the water meets the land. So she went to the river and she saw him standing there in a suit from his father and a flower for her hair. He pulled a ring from his pocket as he gently took her hand, and he knelt by the river where the water meets the land. A the words upon her stone. If you go to the river, you will see me standing there in a dress made of linen and a flower in my hair. You will find me forever in our drawings in the sand. I will wait by the river where the water meets and trace the words upon her stone. If you go to the river, you will see me standing there in a dress made of linen and a flower in my hair. You will find me forever in our drawings in the sand. I will wait by the river where the water meets the land.
Remember me. To the living I am gone, to the sorrowful I will never return. To the angry I was cheated, but to the happy I am at peace. And to the faithful I have never left. I cannot be seen, but I can be heard. So as you stand upon a shore, gazing at a beautiful sea, remember me. As you look in awe at a mighty forest and its grand majesty, remember me. As you look upon a flower and admire its simplicity, remember me. Remember me in your heart, your thoughts, your memories of the times we loved, the times we cried, the times we fought, the times we laughed. For if you always think of me, I will never be gone.
Normally at our Christmas candlelight service, we would light 5 candles expressing our emotions that we're feeling as we're grieving for our lost loved one through Christmas. This year I'd like to focus on 1 candle, the candle of love and hope. We light this candle to remember our lost loved one and to acknowledge the power of love. Because of the love shared with a special person, we are richer. Our love for them will not die, so their essence will live on in us. We know the power of love can change pain to comfort, loneliness to friendship, and despair to hope. This candle affirms our hope for the future, that through the love and care of family, friends, and community, we will be able to go on. Find comfort this holiday season in the love of others and in the love you shared with your special person. Take care.
Time tried to stop one cold, cold night in June. Somehow I knew you sister. Some nights I still see your smile. Remember, I wish I could die. Oh, oh, I wish we could talk for a while. Oh, oh, please just tell me you're alright. Are you way up in the sky? Laughing, smiling, looking down, saying one day we'll meet in the clouds, up in the clouds.
Hi, I want to do a few readings today, and I'm going to do them to the background music of Simon and Garfunkel's Bridge Over Troubled Water. If you Google those words, I think you'll find they're very reassuring. The first reading is a salutation to the dawn. Look to this day, for it is life, the very life of life. In its brief course lie all the verities and realities of your existence. The bliss of growth, the glory of action, the splendor of beauty, for yesterday is but a dream, and tomorrow only a vision. But today, well lived, makes every yesterday a dream of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Look well, therefore, to this day. Such is the salutation of the dawn. In the bottom of an old pond lived some grubs who could not understand why none of their groups ever came back after crawling up the stems of the lilies to the top of the water. They promised each other that the next one who was called to make the upward climb would return and tell what happened to him. Soon one of them felt an urgent impulse to seek the surface. He rested himself on the top of a lily pad and went through a glorious transformation, which made him a dragonfly with beautiful wings. In vain he tried to keep his promise. Flying back and forth over the pond, he peered down at his friends below. Then he realized that even if they could see him, they would not recognize such a radiant creature as one of their number. The fact that we cannot see our loved ones or communicate with them after the transformation which we call death is no proof that they cease to exist. I want to share now a poem that was written by David Harkins in the UK on the occasion of the death of Queen Victoria. It's entitled, She Is Gone, and you can substitute the word he for she if that fits your particular circumstance. You can shed tears that she is gone, or you can smile because she's lived. You can close your eyes and pray that she'll come back, or you can open your eyes and see all that she's left. Your heart can be empty because you can't see her, or you can be full of the love you shared. You can turn your back on tomorrow and live yesterday, or you can be happy for tomorrow because of yesterday. You can remember her and only that she's gone, or you can cherish her memory and let it live on. You can cry and close your mind, be empty and turn your back, or you can do what she would want. Smile, open your eyes, love, and go on. My daughter-in-law sent me that after the loss of my wife, and I found a lot of comfort in reading and reflecting on it. I hope you do too. In closing, I want to end with a traditional Irish blessing. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, and the rains fall soft upon your fields. Until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Merry Christmas and all the best in 2021.
The work of being human is to carry grief in one hand and gratitude in the other, and to be stretched large by them. How much sorrow can I hold? That's how much gratitude I can give. If I carry only grief, I'll bend toward cynicism and despair. If I have only gratitude, I'll become saccharine and won't develop much compassion for other people's suffering. Grief keeps the heart fluid and soft, which helps make compassion possible.
The After Loss Credo by Barbara Hills Lestrain. I need to talk about my loss. I may often need to tell you what happened, or to ask you why it happened. Each time I discuss my loss, I am helping myself face the reality of the death of my loved one.
I need to know that you care about me. I need to feel your touch, your hugs. I need you just to be with me, and I need to be with you. I need to know you believe in me and in my ability to get through my grief in my own way and in my own time.
Please don't judge me now or think that I'm behaving strangely. Remember, I'm grieving. I may even be in shock. I may feel afraid. I may feel deep rage. I may even feel guilty, but above all, I hurt. I'm experiencing a pain unlike any I've felt before.
Don't worry if you think I'm getting better and then suddenly I seem to slip backward. Grief makes me behave this way at times. And please don't tell me you know how I feel, or that it's time for me to get on with my life. I'm probably already saying this to myself. What I need now is time to grieve and to recover.
Most of all, thank you for being my friend. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for caring. Thank you for helping, for understanding. Thank you for praying for me. And remember, in the days or years ahead, after your loss, when you need me as I have needed you, I will understand. And then I will come and be with you.
How We Survive by Mark Rickerby. If we are fortunate, we are given a warning. If not, there is only the sudden horror, the wrench of being torn apart, of being reminded that nothing is permanent. Not even the ones we love, the ones our lives revolve around. Life is a fragile affair. We are all dancing on the edge of a precipice, a dizzying cliff so high we can't see the bottom. One by one, we lose those we love most into the dark ravine. So, we must cherish them without reservation, now, today. This minute, we will lose them or they will lose us someday. This is certain. There is no time for bickering, and their loss will leave a great pit in our hearts, a pit we struggle to avoid during the day and fall into at night. Some, unable to accept this loss, unable to determine the worth of life without them, jump into that black pit, spiritually or physically, hoping to find them there. And some survive the shock, the denial, the horror, the bargaining, the barren, empty aching, the unanswered prayers, the sleepless nights when their breath is crushed under the weight of silence and all that it means. Somehow, some survive all that, and like a flower opening after a storm, they slowly begin to remember the one they lost in a different way. The laughter, the irrepressible spirit, the generous heart, the way their smile made them feel, the encouragement they gave, even as their own dreams were dying. And in time, they fill the pit with other memories, the only memories that really matter. We will still cry. We will always cry. But with loving reflection, more than hopeless longing. And that is how we survive. That is how the story should end. That is how they would want it to be.
Hello again. I wanted to play you another new song. It's called Shepherd of the Road. It's about a truck driver who saved my life. And I followed him up Highway 11 from Barrie. It was midnight. It was minus 20. And I became convinced that the driver was slowing down when I started losing connection to them. And it was this magical experience where I just felt like something was helping me that night. And it was magic. So here we go. Shepherd of the Road. I was on Highway 11 on a cold winter evening. I left my stop in Barrie without a car in sight. I hadn't heard the warnings not to drive that road, and before I could turn back, I was lost in white. With my wits about me, I tried to pull over. I could see another driver was headed my way, but the plows were on their first run. There was a 4-foot shoulder, and I found myself floundering in the middle of two lanes. It was a shepherd of the road who led me home that night, as I watched the cold wind blow in a swirling cloud of white. You could say I just got lucky, but in my heart I know it was a shepherd of the road who brought me home. Two lights flashed, then they moved beside me, holding my breath, white knuckles of steel. Then the two lights flashed again, and I began to follow. North wind shielded by 18 wheels. It was all I could do to stay behind it, but when I fell off pace, it seemed to slow. I gave all my trust, let the two lights guide me. A transport truck with a car in tow. It was a shepherd of the road who led me home that night, as I watched the cold wind blow in a swirling cloud of white. You could say I just got lucky, but in my heart I know it was a shepherd of the road who brought me home. up early to a clear sun shining, wondering if truckers know what they do. I drank my tea and stared out the window, hoping my shepherd made it home too. The shepherd of the road who led me home that night, as I watched the cold wind blow in a swirling cloud of white. You could say I just got lucky, but in my heart I know it was a shepherd of the road who brought me home. It was a shepherd of the road who brought me home. Much peace and love to you over the holidays. Thank you.
As we bring this year's Candles of Remembrance to a close, I'd like to acknowledge that we at Hospice Aurelia recognise that this year has added extra stresses to those that are grieving the loss of a loved one. We also recognise that everyone who is living through these unprecedented times has been dealing with a common grief, the type we incur from being apart from our family and friends, missing gatherings and celebrating life's events and milestones. We don't really believe in the stages of grief anymore. We know that grief isn't that neat and tidy, but the pandemic is relatable. We maybe started with denial when we heard there was a nasty virus going around in some far-flung region of the world that we hoped wouldn't affect us, but then couldn't quite believe it when it was here. We then moved on to anger, irritated that we couldn't go about our normal lives and couldn't be with loved ones when they needed us. Then came the bargaining. If only we could go back to 2019, we'd hug everyone more. Maybe throw in some depression, because this has gone on long enough and really is affecting me and everyone around me. We might now be at the acceptance stage as we realise that this is here to stay for a while, and even though some days are harder than others, we are growing more resilient and adapting to this new, hopefully temporary normal. This is very much like grief, and much like grief, these states may not come in any particular order and may move backwards and forwards through the stages depending on the day. Our hope for tonight has been to provide you with a sense of comfort in knowing that others share in your personal and collective grief. This pandemic has taught us that what we really want this holiday season is each other's presence and not just presence. We have heard a lot about how we're all in this storm together, albeit in different boats. And I think this has been illustrated this evening by our community friends and partners who agreed to read, sing, play, and share their time and talents with us. We offer sincere thanks to you all for making this a compassionate community. Take care.
I will not be the face of anger today. I will not be disgraced by what some others say. I will not hang my shoulders and walk like a failure, nor puff out my chest and laugh like a sailor. I will stand in this stairwell until I'm reminded that all of us in here are not so divided. I will not let my pride make this all wrong. I will not be defined by a voice or a song. I will not make a ruling on what they ought to see. I will not be the former me. I did not come this far to fall off the wagon. I will not let my scars feed this addiction. I can't laugh at this moment of anger today. I will not be disgraced by what some others say. I will look